So I downloaded and started playing Doom Eternal on my gaming PC, and I kind of wish I bought the game on Switch because, I'm sure the game runs better, I'm sure it looks better.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Today I'm here to talk about another Nintendo fanboy. Now, the Nintendo fanboy that we're going to be taking a look at in today's video seems to think that Doom Eternal isn't that good of a game because Metroid's hell is scarier. Now, that is such a stupid comparison, I know, but it's the comparison he's seriously gonna try to sit here and make, so let's go ahead and hop straight into this video. Now, he starts off this video trying to hate on Doom Eternal, calling it a bad game and all that, and then he tries to shift over to Doom 2016 and tries to call that a bad game, before praising Metroid because apparently it's better because the hell is scarier. And I mean, that is just one of the stupidest comparisons of all time, and I don't think I need to explain why that's one of the stupidest comparisons of all time, but let's just jump straight into the video.
So I downloaded and started playing Doom Eternal on my gaming PC, and I kind of wish I bought the game on Switch because, I'm sure the game runs better, I'm sure it looks better.
Ah, Jesus Christ, dude. You're sure the game runs better on the Nintendo Switch rather than your gaming PC? Dude, I don't know how old your gaming PC is. I mean, that shit is probably old enough that Jesus and his disciples took turns playing on it, but how does the Switch run your game better than your PC? It's very impressive that they got Doom Eternal running on the Switch. Now, it only runs at like 30 FPS, 500 to 600p, I think. But it is impressive that they got the game running, but let's not pretend like it runs better than the PC. I mean, even the Xbox One runs that shit at 60 FPS, like 1080p. Also, I find it really funny, every time you talk about your gaming PC, you never list the specifications of that PC. Do you have like an RTX 2060? Do you have a GTX 1080? Do you have an i7, an i9? Like, can you list your specs on your PC? Because, I mean, let's be honest, it doesn't really take a super powered PC to play a game like Doom Eternal. Even the Steam Deck can run Doom Eternal at 60 FPS, and it runs like at a solid 60. I never notice any dips on that game on my Steam Deck.
I'm sure it's more enjoyable playing it like in public or whatever, using the Switch's unique features. But, I bought the game on PC because it was like $5 on sale or something.
And that's something I love about Steam. There's always so many great sales. Like Doom Eternal for $5 is an absolute steal, and you can't convince me otherwise. The amount of sales you get on Steam are ludicrous. I got the entire Fear collection for like $6, $7.
So I'm just like, okay, I'll buy Doom Eternal, I'll talk about it, It's one of those games that like everyone pretends is good, but isn't actually all that impressive and isn't all that like spectacular.
Doom Eternal is a game that's legitimately good. People praise it for good reason. It's everything an FPS should be. It's a fast-paced game, has tons of different weapons, it's well optimized, it sounds nice, it has boss fights, it has tons of content, DLC, etc, etc.
In a lot of ways, I think most fans agree 2016 is better.
I mean, say you know nothing about the Doom community without saying you know nothing about the Doom community. Everyone I've talked to says that Doom Eternal is like objectively the better game because it takes everything that 2016 did and expands upon it. I love when people outside gaming communities like to just come in and talk about those communities as if they know everything about it, and it's clear they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
But that's mostly because it was still a new novel thing. Oh, Doom is back, it's being rebooted, but all you do is run around in circles and shoot demons.
Well, no fucking shit.
Wait, you mean to tell me in a first-person shooter game you're gonna run around and shoot things? I don't believe it, dude. I mean, I thought Doom was a racing game. I expected to get in a go-kart and like race the demons around. No, but jokes aside, what else did you expect to be doing in a first-person shooter game besides, shooting? You're not just shooting demons in games like Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal. You're shooting demons while platforming, while positioning yourself around the arena, while conserving ammo, while using different actions like the flamethrower and the ice grenade and grapple hooks. You're upgrading your suit, you're changing runes to fit each mission, you're solving small puzzles when you get to certain areas, you're collecting key cards to open new ways in the missions. This simplification shit I see with every single game, and it's always stupid every time someone ever tries to bring it up. Let me go ahead and use this argument for tons of other games and show how stupid it is. In Mario, you just platform. In Mario Kart, you just race. In Call of Duty, you just shoot the bad guy. In Apex, you just shoot the bad guy. In PUBG, you just shoot the bad guy. In Fortnite, you just shoot the bad guy. In Borderlands, you just shoot the bad guy. You see, obviously everything I said about these games is true at the core. But there's more to these games than just shoot bad guy, platform, race. This argument is extremely pathetic and it never ever works, so I don't know why people still try to use it.
Oh, but that's all I want to do. But like, you run out of enemy types halfway through. Like, oh, but it's enjoyable.
Hold on, I know you're not gonna complain about lack of enemy variety in a game like Doom Eternal when you sit here and praise games like Tears of the Kingdom that have pretty much the exact same enemies as the first game. Like, dude, seriously, I enjoy Tears of the Kingdom as much as the next guy, but let's not act like that game has the most enemy variety in the world, and neither does Doom, to be honest. I would just like to know why you bring it up when Doom has a lack of enemy variety, but whenever your favorite Zelda game has lack of enemy variety, you don't say a single thing about that.
Like, again, like, Doom 2016 was a complete and total joke.
Is that why across the board, people pretty much praise Doom 2016 for kind of just reinventing the entire franchise when you think about it? It plays completely different to the original Doom games.
You know, Star Fox Zero was way better.
God damn it, Harmon, are we really doing this again? How come every single game in existence for you has to be compared to a Nintendo game that isn't relevant to what we're talking about at all? I mean, I've played Star Fox before, I think it's a pretty fun game, but let's not act like it's comparable to Doom at all. They're two completely different styles of games.
Right, so playing Doom Eternal again, you know, I played this game before about halfway through when I got the game, played the game on Game Pass. You know, playing this game again was a little bit, was pretty interesting because I just played like Doom 2016. I got halfway through it and a rage quit when like I glitched through a wall, died. No, actually I didn't die. I got stuck in the void. You know, an enemy pushed me into the void and I'm just walking around down there. So I'm just gonna like, okay, I'll just reset the area, right? So I pause, hit the button, and it sends me right back to the beginning of the stage.
So you had to restart one mission in Doom 2016. First of all, I doubt this even happened. I believe you're just making this up, because obviously you're not, like, screen recorded it or anything. But yeah, I believe you just made this up. But let's say you didn't. You had to restart one mission in Doom 2016, and the missions are like 10, 12 minutes long. 10 minutes of your time was all it took for you to just completely just never play this game again.
You know, not back to the checkpoint, but to the beginning of the stage. And you know how like long these missions are in the game. So like I was like probably about halfway through, got sent back to the beginning. So like, you know, I rage quit Doom 2016, never gonna play it again. It's trash.
Okay, so this makes it even worse. You weren't even near the end of the mission, so basically you probably lost 5 minutes of your time, and that was enough for you to just say, you know what, this game is fucking garbage, I'm never playing it again. Wow, you need to work on your patience, bro. You just look for any reason you can to hate on a game like Doom, but I bet you if you were in Zelda and you glitched through a wall and had to restart a dungeon or something, you would have sat here and basically said it was fine and you enjoyed doing it again.
You know, complete and total trash. Every time I play the game, I put like, you know, a couple of hours into it, like, oh, shoot demons, yeah, whatever, and then I stop because it's just extremely repetitive, right? Doom Eternal is basically the same exact thing. Oh, you have a dash now. Oh, you can climb over obstacles. Nobody cares. It is the same exact thing.
Yeah, Doom Eternal and Doom 2016 play completely differently. Obviously, they both still play like Doom, like no shit, but there's obviously quite a few differences between the two. Doom Eternal has longer levels, it has more levels if you include the DLC, which that's another thing, Doom Eternal has DLC where 2016 doesn't. Doom Eternal has an ice grenade alongside the regular grenade, whereas Doom 2016 only has one grenade. Doom Eternal has more platforming sections than Doom 2016, as well as more small puzzle sections. Doom Eternal is better optimized than Doom 2016. Doom Eternal has cheat codes, whereas Doom 2016 does not, so it adds more replayability to a lot of the missions. Doom Eternal has a rechargeable chainsaw ammo mechanic that adds an ammo management system to the game, which makes you play differently than you do in 2016. In 2016, you could just spam the big cannon thing and the super shotgun and beat all the levels, whereas in Eternal you have to switch between weapons, making you a better player. In Doom Eternal you have the Doom Pass, in Doom 2016 you do not. In Doom Eternal you can change character skins and weapon skins, because you unlock them by doing different challenges. In Doom 2016 you don't have that. In Doom Eternal you have a dash and a double dash later on. In Doom 2016 you don't have that. In Doom Eternal, you have the Blood Punch mechanic. I think you guys get the idea. I could keep going, but what you said, Harmon, is complete horseshit.
With slightly different animations, right? Doom Eternal is not an impressive sequel by any metric.
How is it not an impressive sequel? It took everything people loved about 2016, expanded upon it, and added tons more.
And one of the things I was thinking about when I was playing this game is that, like, wow, these demons, they're not very powerful. They are not very threatening.
To say these demons aren't scary, I think is a bit of a lie. I mean, have you seen the look of some of these demons in these games? But yeah, they're not meant to be powerful. It's meant to be a power fantasy style game where you're just chainsawing and ripping and tearing through demons.
You know, like, I'm trying to think of, like, you know, like, haven't I played a game that's, like, that has more powerful demons?
Harmon, please don't fucking do this tonight. I'm not in the mood for it.
You know, haven't I played a game that's, like, has a better alternate universe than, like, Doom's version of Hell?
Harmon, please don't do what I think you're going to do. I swear to God, dude, you better not compare this to a non-related fucking Nintendo game.
You know, like, haven't I seen, like, a more terrifying version of the same concept that is explicitly stated to be, like, the most terrifying thing ever?
Harmon, I swear to God, you better not do this.
And, you know, like, it dawned on me.
Well, can anyone guess what Harmon's about to do? 'Cause I sure can.
You know, Metroid Prime 2 has a darker, more brutal world than Doom Eternal.
I'm out, dude. I quit. I'm done, Harmon. You win. You win, Harmon. You fucking win. I'm done. Alright, I'm back. I had to drown my head in a bathtub for a couple of minutes. No, but Harmon, all jokes aside, why do you always do this? How come every single thing in the world you always try to compare it to Nintendo? Like, it doesn't matter what it is, whether you watch or play something, you always gotta compare it to Nintendo. Like, seriously, at this point, I'm convinced you could watch the goddamn Big Bang Bros and you'd be there saying, well, the Big Bang Bros, it's not as good as Mario Bros, because they're better. Like, dude, what the fuck? Why is it not okay for these two things to just exist separately? Why does everything have to be compared to Nintendo?
Because, like, everyone loves to say, like, oh, Doom Eternal, like, billions of lives have been lost. Yeah, in Metroid Prime 2, like, everybody is dead.
Okay, that's cool and all, but they're two completely different universes telling two completely different stories, so who cares?
You know, before you even get there. And, like, the Ink are, like, in the process of taking over the final temple and then, like, going to the stars, right? You know, the very atmosphere of Metroid Prime 2, of Dark Aether, like, saps your energy.
Yeah, and that's definitely not what Doom Eternal's going for. Yeah, sure, Metroid does a better job at getting that specific feel from the player rather than Doom Eternal, because that's what Metroid's going for. Doom Eternal wants a more fast-paced, energetic environment, and that's why everything is so colorful, like the loot drops, for example, are all rainbow. Well, I'm talking about the little ammo drops you get when you chainsaw demons, but I think you guys get the idea. Doom is definitely not a game that's trying to sap your energy like Metroid is.
Right, Samus can't go anywhere without those light crystals, like, protecting her and stuff like that. Like, Doom Guy is going through hell without, like, even his arms exposed, right? He's going through, like, you know, all these environmental hazards with, like, you know, his forearms clearly exposed, you know, like that thin sheet of weak, like, uninspired armor that can't even take a couple of shots, right? Like, the reality is, like, Dark Aether is, objectively speaking, a far more inhospitable world than anything in Doom Eternal.
Okay, and so what? The game is meant to be scarier because in a certain fictional world, the character wouldn't be able to survive without a suit on? Like, seriously, dude?
Or in 40K, right? Like, Samus Aran is and has gone through far more dangerous territory and fought far more powerful enemies than anybody in those universes, right? The reality is, Dark Aether is, objectively speaking, a more dangerous location than anything in Doom. Now,
okay, and they're two completely different fictional worlds that will never ever collide, so what's the point in even making this video in the first place? I could sit here and talk about how, well, Doom's world is more, like, hostile or whatever than Fortnite's, but, like, the thing is, what does this even prove?
a lot of people would probably dispute this, but, like, yeah, you have to go through Dark Aether in order to turn on the lights, right? In order to, like, get the light suit and, like, make it, like, you know, less dangerous to go through. But, like, again, I think in a lot of ways, it's pretty safe to say that, like, Prime 2 is Samus's most dangerous adventure ever, right? In a lot of ways, right? We see how, like, Galactic Federation troopers, who are clearly, like, they have better numbers than like the Doom guy, right? They have, like, better resources. They have, like, you know, an entire operation going, and all of them are just slowly whittled down over the course of, like, their stay on Aether. right? Like they aren't even like primary targets of the ink, right? But they're still there, and they're still like slowly torn apart by just like these hordes coming at them, right? You know, like
Because, as I mentioned earlier, they're two completely different universes that aren't comparable in the slightest, so why you're even making this video trying to compare the two is beyond me. Like, this is just... it's ludicrous. Like, I never thought I'd come across a video that's trying to reach this far to hate on a game like Doom.
Doom Guy would not be able to survive a Dark Aether, right? He would get destroyed by the ink like immediately, right? That is the inevitable fate of Doom Guy, right?
Except it's not the inevitable fate of Doom Guy, because these worlds are not connected and will never ever connect, especially considering Nintendo has the biggest stick rammed up their ass when it comes to people modding their games, or making mods of other games that includes their games. This has to be the most out-of-touch fanboy I've ever covered here on the channel. Like, before, at least like with your older videos, I understand what you're trying to say, I just disagree with it. But here, I don't even know, like, what's the point in this at this point? Like, what are you even trying to prove? Alright, so as I understand so far, this is what you're trying to prove. Doom Eternal is shit, and it's not scary because Doom Guy wouldn't survive in another world that isn't connected to Doom's universe.
Like, Samus Aran is the only person who could have gone to Dark Aether and done what she did.
Yes, this is true because Samus is the protagonist in the Metroid universe, so of course this is true. Just like how Mario is the only guy who could have went and killed Bowser to rescue the princess. Just like how Doom Guy is the only guy who could have went through hell and back to whatever, I forget the story of Doom, but you get the idea.
Right, you know, and that's what makes her such a great sci-fi, like, fantasy hero, right? Like, she is someone who can rise to the occasion and deal with things that nobody else, lesser video game characters like Doom Guy.
Lesser video game characters like Doom Guy. So apparently Doom Guy is a lesser video game character because he didn't do what Samus did in her specific disconnected universe to Doom. Bro, what the fuck is this video?
Could ever deal with, right? Like, it's so sad, like, to see people, like, continually, like, pretend as if Doom is some, like, impressive IP.
Yes, it's not impressive at all, and that's why it's still relevant even 30 years later. I mean, it was so big back in the day that any single game that was even remotely like Doom was just immediately classified as a Doom clone. It's not impressive at all, and that's why 30 years later, the franchise is still going strong and people are still talking about it. It's not impressive at all, and that's why people are still making videos of the modded Doom game from 1993 and getting hundreds and thousands, and in some cases even millions of views on those videos.
Because, you know, I've played, like, a little bit of, like, Doom 1, Doom 2, well, not Doom 2. I've played a little bit of Doom 1, Doom 2016, and Doom Eternal, right? I've played, like, several hours of those games now, right? And I can safely say that they're not that impressive of games.
Okay, if they aren't that impressive of games, then how come they're as influential as they are? If Doom 1 especially isn't an impressive game, then how come people are still making modded maps of it even to this day, like 35 fucking years later?
Right? They aren't that good, they aren't that high quality. They're reliant completely on this idea that, like, PC Master Race, oh, look at this game that would never, ever be able to run on a Nintendo hardware. But in reality, GoldenEye came out in 97 and was better than any Doom game ever, right?
Yes, the only reason people like Doom is because it would never ever be able to run on Nintendo consoles. It totally isn't the fact that it's a good game and tons of people love it because of its innovative gameplay. Also, literally every single Doom game to ever exist has been playable on Nintendo consoles. I don't know about Doom 3, but maybe it is, I don't know. But almost every single Doom game to ever exist, or every single Doom game to ever exist, has been playable on Nintendo consoles, so that excuse isn't going to work here. Also, aren't you completely forgetting about Doom 64 for the Nintendo 64?
You know, and then it was followed up with an even better sequel with Perfect Dark. So, like, again, what about Doom is so impressive? You know, I'm fine if you like the mediocre, like, first-person shooter, right? The boomer shooter, right? You know, I'm not, like, knocking on you for that. But don't pretend as if Doom is, like, the greatest thing ever, right? Don't pretend that, like, Doom Eternal is one of the best games of 2020, right? That game got wrecked, by Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Harmon, you win. You fucking win, dude. You win, Harmon. You win. You win. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. Are we seriously gonna try to sit here and compare Animal Crossing New Horizons to a game like Doom Eternal as if they aren't two completely different styles of games for two completely different groups of people? I mean this when I say it, but there is not a single thing that I can think of with Animal Crossing New Horizons that is similar to Doom Eternal. They are two completely different styles of games for two completely different niches of people.
You know, Isabelle just put Doom Guy in debt, right? Doom Guy came to the island, you know, Tom Nook, like, gave him a loan, and then, like, he never paid it back. And now he's, like, living in squalor, right? Trying desperately to make the bells to pay back the interest in, like, the house he bought and never paid for.
Alex, I'll take things that never happened for 500, please.
Right? You know, that is Doom Guy right now. Like, he isn't capable of competing with superior video game franchises.
Yes, Animal Crossing is superior to Doom because the Nintendo fanboy says so. I mean, that's just a great argument if you ask me. It's superior because I say so. I mean, shit, that's a great argument if you ask me.
Not Animal Crossing, not GoldenEye, and certainly not Metroid Prime. It's going to be really interesting seeing what happens when Metroid Prime 4 finally comes out, right? Because looking back on the Metroid Prime trilogy, it really is the best sci-fi trilogy ever, right? It's so much better than Half-Life. It's so much better than Mass Effect. It's so much better than Doom.
Okay, it's better in your opinion than these games, but other people are allowed to think that these other games you listed are better than Nintendo games. You realize that's a thing, right? Preferences exist.
Like, why in the world is anyone playing any other games at all?
Well, I'll give you two reasons. There's plenty more, but one reason is Nintendo's games are almost always exclusive to Nintendo consoles, so, I mean, not everyone wants to play on a Nintendo console, and other games are available on more consoles. And PCs, obviously. But another reason is maybe people just prefer these non-Nintendo games over Nintendo games. As I mentioned before, preferences exist. Some people prefer certain things over others. Other people are allowed to prefer non-Nintendo games over Nintendo, just like how you're allowed to prefer Nintendo games over non-Nintendo games.
Right? Like, I do think this is going to be like a focus on the channel going forward, leading up to the release of Metroid Prime 4 on Nintendo Switch. Like, people need to acknowledge that Metroid Prime is better than all of the major sci-fi properties from other companies.
It's better because you say so. You realize other people are allowed to think the opposite. They're allowed to think these other games are better than Nintendo properties. It all comes down to personal preferences. This is just like straight up fanboyism at its peak, dude. But I don't really have that much else to say. Please leave a like on this video. I had to fucking suffer through this video. This shit was awful to sit through. And yeah, peace.